Welcome to Giant Radio, where we're all about big ideas in sales and marketing and eye-popping discussions with successful entrepreneurs. Turn up the volume and settle in. Now, here's the founder of Giant Jacks Media and your host, Paul Hitchcock.
Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. I am the president and founder of Giant Jacks Media. Welcome to Giant TV. This is my channel where I have interesting people on doing interesting things. And Richa is certainly one of those people. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paul. It's lovely being here. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking offline. You've got so many great things going on. And Richa, you are doing many things: leadership and team coaching, mindset coach, mentor to many others, a lot. And I know that there's going to be a lot of gold nuggets here, and I want to jump in to what exactly your focus is and who are you working with?
Yeah. So that does sound like a lot, Paul, when you say it that way. But I like to call myself an organizational psychologist. But we'll speak about that later. But when we talk of mindset coaching, it can be for anyone. A leader may need to shift their mindset from one thing to another. An individual may need to shift their mindset from one thing to another when they are transitioning, when they're going through challenges, etc. A leader, an individual, a team, anybody. So I like to call myself a mindset coach. But yes, I work with startup leaders like fan companies, executives, and maybe sometimes even students who are transitioning from, say, work to job to school to job, or people who are transitioning from jobs to, say, retirement, mothers who are returning to work after maternity. So any sort of those things, and this just makes me so happy when I talk about it, when I'm able to help people change their mindset and achieve what they've always been dreaming of.
Love it. Love it. When you say mindset, that's a big term and it conjures up so many different things to think about their mindset. So is it, you mentioned people going through change, personal and business. Is it always they're struggling with something? Is there kind of motivational aspect to what you're doing? And why are people seeking you out? Like what are the issues that they things they can't deal with, or like what is it?
Yeah. So in short, if I say I am the how to their why. Like, for example, if I wanted to achieve something, let's say I've been eyeing a promotion, and it's not always people who are struggling, because personally also I may have goals. I may want to be a marathon runner next year, but that's something that I have been thinking in my mind, but somehow it's not been able to manifest, in actuality. And I've been trying it for 4 years. So I recently coached somebody who was struggling to do something on a personal level, more like into fitness and stuff like that, because they wanted to be a marathon runner or something. So we together worked towards getting to that mindset, which would in turn help empower that individual to go ahead and just that alpha, the distance that they needed to cover to be able to start practicing, or getting that extra mile to be able to run that marathon. And I'm very happy to announce that they've registered for this year, and fingers crossed.
There you go. That's great. And so, Richa, is it a discipline of the mind? Is it physical exercises that you're doing to be more organized and efficient with your thought? I mean, is it like what? Put a bit more detail on that.
Yeah, so I think let me give you my example, Paul, why I chose mindset coaching as one of the niches and people I attract. Because I've mentioned a lot of times in previous podcasts and even on my LinkedIn posts that I was one person who was so resistant to change. I would feel like, oh, I need to be like, in a particular environment, things have to be in a particular way for me to be able to thrive. I would hate switching jobs. I would hate switching apartments. But look at me now. I grew up in one of the oldest living cities in the world, and now I'm sitting in the heart of Silicon Valley. And I have
Yeah.
changed 6 apartments within the United States. Like I lived on the East Coast, now I'm in California. I lived in 3 different cities here. So I realized that we tend to, as human beings, we tend to hold ourselves, like we shackle ourselves in self-limiting beliefs. Oh, I need this in order to be able to achieve this. Oh, if this doesn't happen, that won't happen. But I realized that once you free yourself from these self-limiting beliefs and have that change in mindset, like, no, I don't need this for that to happen. And now I'm okay with changes. And I take these challenges as something like that will help me grow even further. So that's what I mean when I say a mindset shift, which is like freeing yourself from the self limiting beliefs and going from A to B in order to be able to achieve the highest potential that you expect out of yourself.
I love that. I love that. And so there is some motivational stuff in there for sure, and psychology. And um, uh, it- do people have these self-limiting beliefs because they grew up a certain way and you've got to break through it as they become adults, or are there certain triggers in life that cause this? What do you find that is the case?
Usually it's a mixture of all those and a lot more. Our experiences, our upbringing, the cultural impacts, and there are so many different things that shape our minds into believing what we do. And more often than not, we usually don't realize that we have created foundations on ourselves. Like an interesting thing that I read somewhere the other day was that human beings are capable of pulling a truck, but we are not able to do that because our mind tells us that we can't. So we are
Mm-hmm.
limited by our own minds, and the people who we see flourishing and who like achieved so much in life is because they believed that they were able to or that they deserved to be able to do that. So I'm just trying to create that space for people where they can believe that they're very well deserving to achieve whatever they want to achieve, and there
Yeah.
should be no reason whatsoever to make them feel other way around.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, you've seen those videos, those what like appear to be like miracles where somebody lifts like a truck off somebody's the truck sitting on their leg or something because they just in that moment believe they can do it.
You
You
and I
know.
can do that too, Paul.
There might be a little Tonka truck toy about this big. I can lift it on. Uh, and so you love education. You've got some incredible education, and you were talking offline. Tell me about your studies and the expertise that you've built up for yourself over the years.
Yeah, so I am drawn to academia like anything. So I am a science graduate, and then I pursued my MBA. Post that, I have like almost a decade of experience with the corporate. So I've been an individual contributor and a manager of cross-cultural teams. Uh, but now I am pursuing my second master's. It's an MS in organizational dynamics from Penn. So Penn, of course, promises to be one of the best psychology departments, not only in the country, but in the whole world. And I was fortunate enough to get an admission there. So I'm pursuing that. And I feel that not only this organizational psychology degree, but my training as a coach and the work that I've done over the years, even before I got my training as a coach, I was doing a similar work with startup back in my country, India. So all of this experience, I feel that has humbled me and made me even more ready to be able to speak to a variety of people and come across a variety of problems, and then it just gives me more energy to
Yeah.
be able to work with people to solve their problems.
Yeah. Is there a new door that you want to open with this degree that you're getting now? Or like, why are you doing it? Where's it going to take you?
Yes, that's a brilliant, brilliant question. And it's super close to my heart because, Paul, I've seen that in my corporate culture, and a lot of people would agree that what we see at workplaces these days is not very promising for the future. The human beings typically they're treated like just a number, and you're treated as a replaceable asset. And I've been a part of that, both as an individual contributor and as a team member. Although I always worked towards empowering my own team, but I generally had a wish that, you know, workplaces should have been better. Like we spend 8 hours in a day, like one third of our lives at workplaces. And why does it have to be a place where people they hate to be there, they despise? So I thought that with my degree, I would be able to like take one step. I don't know how impactful would that be, but I'm trying my best to work towards making workplaces better. And coaching happens to be one of the tools in my toolkit that I plan to use to empower individuals. And then, of course, work with leaders and the change makers at organizations to make workplaces better, not only in terms of like giving it a better look and feel for employees to feel happy and comfortable, but also where everybody is naturally motivated to contribute their best within that time frame that they're supposed to be there.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really an art that you certainly have to be fueled by people and other people's energy, and you've got to be in your position a good listener, right? You can't be doing all the talking. I would imagine for a lot of your interaction, you're listening quite a bit versus talking. And so, um, do you find that what makes it that people are comfortable talking with you? And do you ever find resistance there? And how do you get someone where they're just opening up and free to work with you?
Yeah, so most of the times, and it's not only me, I think it would happen with any therapist or a coach or organizational psychologist as well, that people would come to them with their, like, whatever they have in their mind that they want to work towards.
Yeah,
But initially, I think, I don't know about others, but the best practice that I follow is have a chemistry session, a building alliance session with everyone who plans to work with me or who I plan to work with, so that we decide and we discuss who are we as individuals, what are the cultural impacts that we have on ourselves, what are some things that we do, and whether we hit it or not, like, that chemistry, whether it's there or not. Sometimes, although knock on the wood, it hasn't happened so far. Sometimes people might say that, Richa, I don't feel that we have that chemistry. And even though your credentials are up to the mark, I may
yeah,
feel that, maybe you're not the right person for me. But it has happened with me, though. I felt like maybe I'm not the best person. Even though like your problem is something that have like helped other people solve similar
yeah,
things, but still, I feel that I may not be the best person to make that impact on you. So I've referred people to other coaches or
yeah.
therapists that I deem fit. But otherwise, we indulge in one-on-one conversations, and more than once if needed, to see if we have that chemistry and whether we want to. Because coaching is something which requires a long-term contract, Paul. It's not something that comes from one session, two session, and you see the changes. No, because it needs to be from within. It typically takes 6 to 8 months for individuals to be able to exhibit that change. So I work for longer terms, 6 months, 8 months, or 9 months
Oh,
contract. And for
hmm.
that, it's important that you and I hit it off.
Right.
So one or two one-on-one sessions usually do the work for me. But yeah, if needed, I also have that facility in my program where we work for a month, even after we've decided that we want to work with each other. And if you're not comfortable, then I'm okay to call it off.
Just end it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, and where do you see your practice going the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Are you just full growth mode? Or, you see iteration down the road for you, or where's it going?
I am all about empowering people. I think that's my mission. So anything has nothing has ever come in between for me to be able to empower people. When I say that, I want to take my coaching practice to a level where everybody who feels that I can make an impact in their lives, I can help them empower themselves, is able to reach me. That's one. Two, I am also a mentor coach, wherein people who are, say, influenced, or maybe, who like my way of working, I mentor them. So I have a lot of coaches who are in their training phase and who seek mentoring from me to, say, improvise or maybe learn a thing or two from me. So I do mentor coaching. That's my way of empowering coaches, because we need a lot of them and we need a lot of awareness around coaching. Second, I see myself interacting with a lot more people, but for that I need a little more time because I'm pursuing my master's as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I see being a one-stop shop for organizations, say in terms of organizational psychologists, where I can work with them one-on-one for their culture, for their team, for their empowerment, and also for their executives, like individual coaching.
Got it. And Richard, you're virtual, work with people all across the country, the world, perhaps?
Yes, mostly yes, but I am in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, so there are a couple of folks who want to meet in person. Although, as I said, that I have a lot on my plate right now, I'm not doing anything in person, but in future, maybe once I'm done with my degree, maybe I can look at taking one or two clients in person.
And when you're working with somebody, you're getting Zoom sessions, one-to-one, you're just highly interactive here. And then with teams, is there team stuff going on virtually also?
So Paul, team coaching is slightly different. So we need to mostly, like for it to be effective, 99% of the times I would prefer in person. So I've done a couple of them back in my country, but here, whenever I do it, I plan to make it in person because then it has the maximum impact, at least for the initial one or two sessions.
Totally. Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when I'm having individual sessions with the team members, that can be on Zoom.
Love it. Love it. You do have a lot going. I got to ask you, when you're not working, what are you doing in your spare time?
Ooh, so recently, I launched the cover of my debut book. So we're gonna be on shelves November 13th. It's
Oh,
it's it's something which is very close to my heart. It's about compassion fatigue. So 16, 17 of us, we've come together to write our own experiences and things that have helped us. People who've been, I would not say victims, but people who have suffered from compassion fatigue. So I love writing. I love talking about the things.
you love talking? I didn't notice. I didn't notice. You're so shy.
Yeah.
You're so shy.
I wouldn't work. I wouldn't get bread if I was shy. So yeah, I love talking about the things that I'm working about. So yeah,
Do,
that's what keeps my passion alive.
do you come from a social family, like a big family of talkers?
I wouldn't say that, but my mom is somebody who's like super popular, and I think I derive my passion from her, and I talk about her in my book as well. So
Yeah.
I think she is the source of my inspiration. People love her, and the impact that she has on people is just so amazing and pure.
Yeah, yeah, because I figure one of your parents got to have the gift of gab. I mean, I asked that because I grew up in a huge Catholic family and just a bunch of talkers sitting around the table growing up, learning about my family because my mom and her sisters and everyone was just talking all the time. It was great, you know. So it comes from somewhere. No, that's awesome. In your book, do we have a link to your book yet or not yet?
We have a link to the website. The book's gonna be out November 13th. So yeah, maybe I can share that with you as well.
Yeah, no, awesome. I want to tell everybody listening because we're streaming this everywhere. YouTube, LinkedIn, it's on Facebook. And the link to Rich's book and to get connected with Richa is going to be around this video, wherever you're watching it. So we'll have the information up there. Highly recommended. I've seen your content. It's awesome. I know you love giving a lot of value away. So this is great. Thanks for doing this. And I know we're going to keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I absolutely loved our conversation. It's like catching up with an old buddy.
I know, I know, I know. It feels so great. All right, well, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.